Optimizing your body and brain to be powerfully productive really isn't that difficult. It comes down to 4 things. So in this video, I'm going to break down my 4-step biohackers guide to getting shit done. So grab a pen and paper because we're going to tackle the issue of productivity from a totally different angle that you haven't considered before. So let's dive in.
Work harder, run faster, think smarter. The hustle until you die culture is killing us. Millions are stressed and depressed. I was one of them. I went on a 90-day mission to biohack my way back to health. The result? My best-selling book Unstoppable, daily journal, an online program that's changed thousands of lives and is praised by athletes, psychologists, and doctors. And now, it's your turn to become unstoppable.
If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben and I've helped tens of thousands of people biohack their way out of depression, fatigue and stress into optimal health through my best-selling book Unstoppable, which is now in its 2nd edition, as well as the Unstoppable daily journal based on the book. Now, before we begin, I want you to stick around to the very end because I'm going to tell you how to get 2 free chapters from my brand new book, Mind Control, that explores the latest in nutritional psychology and the gut microbiome to help you optimize your body, brain, and life for sharper thinking, increased energy, and better health. So let me get this straight. You've got this great idea. You want to increase your focus and get more shit done. Who doesn't? Well, first you need to realize that the advice on productivity is typically narrowed down to the psychological component only, but this totally misses out on foundational steps that, if unaddressed, the psychological work becomes largely ineffective. And it will feel like you're constantly pushing a boulder up the hill, knowing that at any point it's going to steamroll over you if you get distracted, lose energy, and lose willpower. You see, true productivity requires a multifaceted approach. I first started exploring the framework that I'm about to share with you when I went from a peak performer to a mess within a matter of months due to a multitude of unexpected health problems that caught me totally off guard. And despite seeing doctors, nutritionists, meditating, supplementing, nothing worked. So I had to dig deeper. And this journey all started with my book Unstoppable that's now sold over 80,000 copies. It's changed thousands of lives internationally, and the strategy that I'm about to share with you represents the next stage in that evolution that dives even deeper into 2 key areas that impact your ability to be powerfully productive and get more done, including the latest research into the gut microbiome and nutritional psychology to look at how the trillions of gut bacteria, our digestive system, the gut-brain axis, and our food impacts our mind, our mood, and emotions, and yes, that includes being powerfully productive. You see, when you biohack these fundamentals first, getting focused is easy, it's natural, and the results come quickly. We've seen it in thousands of testimonials that we've received. I've used these same strategies to write 2 books, film weekly videos for Entrepreneur Magazine, and heal myself and thousands of others from depression, fatigue, and brain fog. Factors that prevent people from performing at their best, and if left unaddressed, you'll constantly psychologically beat yourself up for not getting more done, but never really addressing the root cause of that. So here's what I want you to do. On a piece of paper, I want you to write down 4 steps. Just leave the spaces blank. What you're gonna do is fill them out as we work through the video together, and to make sure that you're committing this information to memory, make sure you drop a comment below as we move throughout the process with some of your biggest takeaways. So, to be powerfully productive, manage overwhelm like a pro, and feel like you have enough time and energy to get everything done, you need to begin with step 1 of my Trust Your Gut method. Step 1, heal your gut. I get it. You're probably saying, Ben, what the hell does gut health have to do with productivity? Well, put simply, anything that impacts your brain health impacts your ability to get anything done, and your gut has one of the biggest impacts on the brain that there is. You see, in our survey of 50,000 people, we found that the bottom 50% of performers who not only suffered mental health issues, including depression, stress, fatigue, brain fog, and only achieved their goals a small fraction of the time, as well as being massive procrastinators and who were unfocused and scattered, they also had digestive issues, from constipation to diarrhea and bloating and gas, which is one of the reasons I decided to reach out to the top researchers in the field of gut-brain axis to dive even deeper, because this was a common finding among the 50,000 people. I reached out to experts from MIT, Purdue, Stanford, Harvard Lifestyle Medicine, University of Maryland, University of Western States, and a lot more. Understand this, for everything to change, you need to know this one thing, and that is to think of your gut like the engine of a car. If the engine isn't functioning efficiently, it doesn't matter what fuel you put into it, the car's gonna stall, it's gonna sputter, it's gonna be unreliable, and it's gonna head for a breakdown. Your gut is no different, only it's your mental health that will break down instead. This is important for you to understand because poor digestive health can prevent your body from absorbing key nutrients that your body needs for optimal brain function, a requirement of being powerfully productive. On top of that, other digestive issues such as constipation can lead to toxins entering your blood-brain barrier, triggering inflammation and impairing cognitive function. This inflammation can of course trigger brain fog, which means your task list is ultimately going to get left undone because you won't be able to see through this thick fog. And here's the kicker. Stress also strips your body of key nutrients that are an essential component of being able to focus for lengthy periods of time and manage stress effectively. The latest research into the gut microbiome has implicated it in everything from reaping and harvesting of key nutrients that impact your mind and mood. If your gut is imbalanced, you have unexplained weight gain, and you're experiencing depression, anxiety, then gut health is one of the most important first steps that you can take to become productive and get your brain firing on all cylinders. So if you want to get shit done, you have to make sure your engine is functioning at optimal levels first and foremost. Sure, you can focus on mindful techniques and brain training, which I'm all for, but without the foundational element of gut health working to its fullest capacity, they're not going to have the level of impact that you want them to have. Why? Because if your brain is in a state of distress due to nutritional deficiencies, instead of your brain perceiving your goals as this powerful life-giving force, it instead perceives them as a threat to life, and it's going to sabotage any effort you make towards your goals because your goal will expend more energy than what your brain and body has, sending it into panic, not productivity mode. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, you really think about this. Dive into your memories and think about the last time that you felt energized, focused, and you're achieving your goals. What were you eating? How was your digestive health? How were you sleeping? I bet all of these components at that stage in your life were working as they should, but you probably didn't notice it because that's your natural state of being. We generally don't question things when they're working well, but for whatever reason, you may have fallen off course in the past year. Now when you become unfocused, instead of optimizing your health and your diet as your first step, you probably blame yourself for being weak and for not giving it your all. We've been taught to misdiagnose our problems and purely blame them on psychology instead of looking at the biological component of being powerfully productive and focused. But before I get to what you need to do, I want you to hit like, subscribe, and drop us a comment. It helps to support this YouTube channel. Okay, so here's what you need to do. Focus on both biological and psychological health, not one or the other, but begin with your gut. Begin with your engine. You know better than anyone that when brain fog, headaches, and fatigue hit, you put off tasks, you procrastinate, and you get overwhelmed. We all do it at some stage. We've had case studies of individuals who were suicidal to suddenly heal their gut and address nutritional deficiencies, to suddenly feel better within a matter of weeks, change career paths, increase their earning potential, and reconnect with family and friends. This is the most understated area there is when it comes to focus and productivity. The problem is most people don't understand how to optimize their gut beyond just drinking kombucha or taking an off-shelf probiotic. They think they're the only things that you need to do, but they're not. It's one component out of 4. They also know that they need to eat well, but they don't. which leads us to our next step. 2. Food and training your mind. Part of training your mind to be focused and productive is about training it to choose foods that fuel it for success to supercharge brain function. This requires a behavioral change, and this is where the nutritional psychology comes into it. Nutritional psychology examines the relationship between our diet and our behavior, mood, and mental health. And here's where I want you to stop and think. And really think about this. What kinds of foods are you eating right now? My guess is if you're watching this video, you're probably stressed out, which means you're experiencing spikes in cortisol and adrenaline. This will lead you to reach for unhealthy options like sugars and carbs and junk food that give your brain a quick boost in energy, then result in a major crash. And you're also probably overly reliant on caffeine as a result of this cycle. One major reason you're most likely having trouble focusing right now is because you're experiencing energetic instability. This leads to a lack of emotional control, which also affects your ability to have self-discipline. Psychological as well as biological stress triggered by inflammatory foods all lead to inflammation, which leads to brain fog. Brain inflammation hinders energy production in neurons, making it harder for them to communicate. And here's what I want you to remember. When this happens, your brain slows down. It's more easily fatigued. You'll go to sit down at your computer, but you won't be able to focus on your goals. You'll get distracted by social media. You won't know where to focus, what little energy and effort you do have left. You're running on fumes. You're not running on fuel. The problem is your brain's inbuilt safety system goes into panic mode when you're stressed out and your gut health is imbalanced. Even the gut microbiome can influence your cravings, mood, and energy, driving you to eat specific foods. So you must train your mind to choose healthy options instead of options that cause inflammation and brain fog. Your brain, every single time when it's stressed out, takes the easiest route to unhealthy foods when it's depleted because it requires less energy. Thankfully, you can address this issue and kick this process off by using a visual rehearsal technique that's used by athletes so you can break negative neural connections that got you to where you are right now. What you need to do is find a quiet space, sit down, and visualize yourself reaching for healthy options, including healthy fats such as olive oil and avocados, which are great for brain health. See yourself exercising and meditating to help calm your fight or flight response, and you want to rehearse this weekly. You see, many try and make sudden dietary and lifestyle changes, but what happens is it shocks your primal mind into a state of fight or flight because it's unfamiliar territory. Do it in your mind before you do it in the real world and give your brain the roadmap it needs to succeed, and you're going to notice that you'll naturally reach for healthy options that are going to heal your gut, mind, and your mood, and you're going to become more productive than you could have ever imagined before and less reliant on caffeine. But here's the thing, even if you address this aspect, if you're not getting the right kind of sleep, not only is it going to impact nutrient absorption and cognitive function, it's also going to disrupt your gut microbiome, creating a nasty cycle. I'm going to get to that shortly, but first let's cover step 3, fueling your brain. Can you imagine hopping in your car when the battery is flat and expecting it to turn on, expecting it to get you to where you need to go? Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that's because it is. You and I both know that we can't just will more energy into the battery. That's unfortunately the sad reality of what most people are doing on a daily basis. Like a lot of people, you're expecting your brain to perform to the same standard of someone like Tony Robbins, only you most likely don't have the fuel that he has to function the way he functions. You're trying to will your brain to go 1,000,000 miles per hour without any gas in the tank, with a flat tire that's about to fall off, and with fume coming out of your exhaust. So you need to focus on identifying anything that's draining your brain's battery and its ability to be productive. Think of it like the bloatware in the background on your computer or even on your phone. You know the battery is running low, but you can't see what's causing it. You also know that goals without the energy to pursue them aren't worth the paper that they're written on. Here's what you need to do. You'll need to focus on removing foods that cause inflammation and brain fog, and introducing foods that are anti-inflammatory in nature, as well as addressing household toxins and any medications that are causing drag on your system. When it comes to medications, be sure to speak to your doctor. And after this video, here's what I want you to do. Go to your fridge, open your cupboards, ask yourself, which foods am I eating that could be causing inflammation, including foods high in sugars and refined carbs. Also take note of how much caffeine you're consuming each day. Caffeine is great for a quick boost in energy, but if you're stressed out, it's going to do more harm to your body than good. When we drive our members' awareness around what they eat and why they eat by teaching them the principles of nutritional psychology, change becomes easy. They naturally lose weight, which also helps them to reduce inflammation and clear brain fog. Their energy comes back and they're finally able to focus. Remember, you have the capacity to achieve whatever you want, but until you remove the bloatware in the background and fuel that big, beautiful brain of yours, you're not going to get off the starting block, or you're not going to get very far before you have to reset. Understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint, which means consistent energy is key, especially when it comes to consistent emotional control, which is vital for being productive. And 4, soothe your mood. There's one thing that's going to destroy your capacity to be productive more than anything else, and that's stress. You need to learn how to soothe your mood. One core component out of several easy steps includes optimizing your sleep. You see, one of the most critical stages of sleep is deep sleep. This is when your brain activates its waste removal system and releases toxins that are built up during the day. These toxins can cause poor memory, erratic behavior, confusion, headaches, and fatigue, literally everything that kneecaps your ability to get things done. It's also going to make you hangry because your hunger hormones are going to get thrown out of whack. You're going to end up craving sugars and carbs, thereby triggering more inflammation, hence the nasty cycle continues. It could also lead to an overgrowth of bad gut bacteria, which further worsens the situation because that also craves carbs and sugars. When people think about getting enough sleep, they think dark room, cold temperature, turning off their phone, and blue blockers, which is all great. But one key area that they don't think about is addressing nutritional deficiencies specifically. 3 key vitamins that you need to focus on include A, B6, and D. Vitamin D3 deficiencies are also associated with sleep disorders. B6 deficiency has been linked to sleep disturbances, and vitamin A is a vital contributor to setting and maintaining your circadian rhythm. A lack of sleep can also cause your gut to become dysbiotic, which means you may have poor digestion. Hence, you won't be able to absorb fully the nutrients that your brain needs to function. You're going to struggle until once again you fix the first step, which is your gut health. Miss a step and you're going to miss the mark. The problem is most people don't understand how to fully implement these strategies. They know they should eat healthy, but they don't. They know they should reduce inflammation and stress, but they don't. They know that they should fuel their brain so it can perform at its best, but they don't. Their body and brain, as a result of this, is going to pay a high price. You're also going to pay a high price for not being able to focus, which means you're not going to get the level of work you need done to achieve those goals that you want. This impedes your ability to grow your income because instead of focusing on opportunities, your brain in its state of distress only focuses on threats. It's the invisible threat in the background which keeps your adrenaline and cortisol high, which means you never fully recover. That's why we must follow the 4 steps in order. 1, heal your gut. 2, train your mind. 3, fuel your brain. And 4, soothe your mood. And unfortunately, due to the self-help industry, which I have been a part of, when we think about productivity, we typically think willpower. We think schedules, time constraints, getting focused and self-discipline. We don't focus on fueling our bodies and brains to make this possible. We're the car without any gas, the mobile phone with a dead battery. You don't let your phone go flat, don't let yourself go flat. When you apply this framework, you're going to find life becomes so much easier. You're compelled to make healthy changes. You naturally lose and manage your weight effectively. But most importantly, you'll get your body, brain, and life back. Which is why, to help you repair your gut, your mind, and your mood, I've created a free online gut health quiz based on our survey of 50,000 people, 1.5 million pieces of data, and countless conversations with experts in the field of gut-brain axis and nutritional psychological research. This is the next evolution of biohacking and personal optimization. When you take the free quiz, you're going to identify your likelihood of depression, anxiety, obesity, fatigue, digestive distress, carb and sugar cravings, and more. This is ultimately going to help you close the gap from knowing to doing. Then, to help you out even further, we're also going to give you the introduction to free chapters from my brand new book, Mind Control: How to Biohack Your Weight, Mind, and Immune System using nutritional psychology and the gut microbiome. Mind Control is the follow-up to my bestseller, Unstoppable, the one best self-help book of 2020 in the International Book Awards, has been translated into 2 languages and has sold well over 80,000 copies now. Unstoppable has been praised by doctors, psychologists, nutritionists, and athletes, which is why I'm so excited to present to you Mind Control, because it's going to help you to take back control of your mood, understand why you eat, what you eat, why we're physically full but emotionally empty, the missing micronutrients and your starving brain, the best diets for treating depression, anxiety, and fatigue, and various gut health issues, plus so much more. It is so easy to get overwhelmed by dietary advice that's conflicting in nature. Mind Control makes it easy and it takes the pain out of the process. So, to ensure that your brain fires on all cylinders and you get more shit done, take your free online gut health quiz now, get your free report and the sample chapters from Mind Control. The link is in the description below. And if you like this video, go ahead, go on, click the subscribe button and the like button, and I can't wait to see you for the next video. Here's to better health. Take care, and I'll see you then.